Welcome back to the second video of the chapter Physical Features of India. As I said, this video consists of Peninsular Plateau, the Indian desert, the coastal plains and the island groups. Now let us go in detail with the Peninsular Plateau. You can see the Peninsular Plateau. This particular region is the Peninsular Plateau. This particular region is the Peninsular Plateau. The major features of the Peninsular Plateau are: it is a tableland composed of old crystalline, igneous and metamorphic rocks. And this is formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land. And it has broad and shallow valleys and has rounded hills. And it consists of, that is, a Peninsular Plateau consists of Central Highlands and Deccan Plateau. That is, the whole Peninsular Plateau is divided into two. That is the Central Highlands here and we have the Deccan Plateau here. It's a flow chart where it speaks about Peninsular Plateau is divided into two, Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. And Central Highland is again divided into Malwa Plateau and Chota Nagpur Plateau. Then Deccan Plateau is divided into Western Ghats, Eastern Ghats. See, Peninsular Plateau, this is the northernmost part, this particular region, that is the Peninsular Plateau. Then here we have the Deccan Plateau. Then the Peninsular Plateau is divided into two, Malwa Plateau. This particular region is this one, Malwa Plateau and Chota Nagpur Plateau. So here we have the Malwa Plateau and this particular region we have the Chota Nagpur Plateau. And the Deccan Plateau is divided into two, the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. This is the Western Ghats and this is the Eastern Ghats. Okay, so this is the flow chart of the division of Peninsular Plateau. Now let us go to the features of Central Highlands. The part of the Peninsular Plateau which is lying to the north of the Narmada River, which is covering the major area of the Malwa Plateau, is known as the Central Highlands. See, as I told you, this particular part is the Central Highlands. Here we have the Narmada River, the north of the Narmada River, and which is bounded by the Aravalis here and the Vindhya range here. The second feature is this particular Central Highland is bounded by Vindhyas on the Vindhya range is bounded by the Central Highlands in the south and the Aravalis in the northwest. Then this particular region is drained by four important rivers, that is Chambal and Sindh, Betwa and Ken. These are the four important rivers that is draining Central Highlands. Then Central Highlands are wider in the west and narrower in the east. See, you can see here it is broad, here you have it is very narrow on the eastern side. Then we have the eastward extension of this plateau. The eastward extension of this plateau is known as Bundelkhand and Bundelkhand, or it is also known as Bundelkhand. Next, let us go to the main features of Deccan Plateau. As I said, see, this is the Deccan Plateau, this particular triangular mass that lies in the south of the river Narmada. As I said, see, this is the Narmada river. On top of the northern part of Narmada river, we have the central highlands, and the south of the Narmada river, we have the Deccan plateau. And the Satpura range flanks its broad base in the north, while the Mahadev forms in the eastern part. Here we have the Satpura range, this part, and here we have the Mahadev on the eastern part. And an extension of the plateau is also visible in the northeast, which is locally it is known as Meghalaya, Karbi Anglong Plateau and North Kachar Hills. That is, we can see the northeast extension. That is the Deccan Plateau's extension we can see on the northeastern side. That is this particular part where it is known as the Meghalaya, Karbi Anglong Plateau and North Kachar Hills. Then it is separated by a fault from Chota Nagpur Plateau. That is this particular region, Chota Nagpur Plateau. Three prominent hill ranges from the west to east are the Garo, Khasi and Jaintia hills. So we have the continuation here towards this part where we have the Garo, Khasi and the Jaintia hills. So these are the important features of the Deccan Plateau. Then as I said, Deccan Plateau is again, it has got two edges, or it is divided into two, the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. The two edges of the Deccan Plateau are the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. Now, that is the Western Ghats. Western Ghats are higher than the Eastern Ghats, and their height is 900 to 1600 meters. But what about the Eastern Ghats? Eastern Ghats are lower than the Western Ghats and their height is 600 to 900 meters. The second one is Anamudi, that is it is the highest peak of the Western Ghats. Anamudi is the highest peak of the Western Ghats. So what about the Eastern Ghats? We have Mahendragiri is the highest peak of the Eastern Ghats. The third point is they have steep slopes, that is Western Ghats have steep slopes as height increases from north to south. What about Eastern Ghats? They have gentle slopes. Eastern Ghats have very gentle slopes. Then the fourth point of Western Ghats are it is continuous and can be crossed only through passes only. That is, the people can pass through the passes only. That is the fourth point of the Western Ghats. So what about Eastern Ghats? Eastern Ghats are discontinuous. It is irregular and dissected by rivers. Then the fifth point of the Western Ghats, that is Western Ghats are having tropical evergreen forest. Eastern Ghats have scrub vegetation due to overgrazing. So these are the important points of difference between the Western Ghats and the Eastern Ghats. Now let us go to the next physiographic division, that is the Indian Desert. The Indian Desert, or it is also known as the Thar Desert. So you can see the Thar Desert, you can see this part above the Aravalli. This is the Rajasthan region. That is what the main Indian desert, or it is also known as the Thar Desert. So this lies, that is, it lies towards the western margin of the Aravalli range, western part of the Aravalli range, and it is undulating sandy plain covered with sand dunes. We are aware a lot of sand dunes, loose sands. So if there is high breeze, then there is a tendency to form sand dunes. Then this region receives very little rainfall, that is below 150 millimeter per year. So it has very scanty rainfall, and since it has very low rainfall, it has arid climate with low vegetation cover. And Luni is the only large river in this particular region. And also we find, crescent shaped dunes. Crescent shaped dunes is also known as birchens. Okay, I repeat, it is also the crescent shaped dunes is one of the prominent thing which is found in the Thar desert. It is also known as birchens. So you can see here, I repeat, this is Thar desert. It is in the western part of the Aravalli region, and it is undulating. It is an undulating sandy plain, and we know that it receives only very little rainfall. So since it receives only little rainfall, the climate is arid, so very less vegetation cover. And another important feature is it has got a large river known as Luni, and they have crescent shaped dunes that is called birchens. Okay, I shall show you this on the next slide. See, river Luni, you can see this is the Rajasthan area or the Thar desert where we have the river Luni. Okay, then as I said about the most important prominent feature of Rajasthan is the crescent shaped dune, or it is known as birchen. Now let us go to the next part or the next important feature, which is the coastal plains. When we talk about the coastal plains, you can see this pink colored region. This is the coastal region. When we talk about the coastal region, the Indian coastal plains are divided into western coastal plain and eastern coastal plain. I repeat, the coastal plains of India is divided into two, the western as well as the eastern coastal plain. And the western coastal plain is which is on the side of Arabian Sea, and the eastern is in the Bay of Bengal. Here we have the Bay of Bengal, here we have the Arabian Sea. I repeat, the Indian coastal plain is divided into two, western, eastern. Western is beside Arabian Sea, eastern is in the beside Bay of Bengal. Now the western coastal plain is again divided into Konkan, Kannad plain and Malabar coast. Konkan, when you talk about Konkan, it is from Mumbai till Goa, we call it as Konkan. Then from Goa till this particular region, this Karnataka region, we call it as Kannad. Then from here, from this particular region till the end, we call it as the Malabar coast. So the western coastal plain is divided into three, the Konkan coast, the Kannad and the Malabar coast. Then we have the eastern coastal plain. The eastern coastal plain is divided into northern Sarkar and Coromandel coast. We have the northern Sarkar and the Coromandel coast. Okay, so the eastern coastal plain is divided, it is in beside Bay of Bengal, and it is divided into two, the northern Sarkar and the Coromandel coast. And some other important features of this particular region, that is in the coastal region, that the eastern part is, there are three important rivers. In fact, there are four important rivers which is draining this particular region. That is, we have Mahanadi, then we have Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. These are the four important rivers draining the eastern coastal region. Then we have the lake Chilika, which is an important feature along the eastern coast. We have Lake Chilika here, this part. Can you see this particular region? That is called Lake Chilika. So these are the important features of the coastal plains. Now let us go to the next physiographic division, that is the island groups. When we talk about the island groups, we have two island groups. One, we have Lakshadweep, and the next one Andaman and Nicobar Island. Lakshadweep is, this particular island group is in Arabian Sea, and Andaman and Nicobar is in Bay of Bengal. Now when you talk, let's go deeper into the Lakshadweep, that is the island groups which is in the Arabian Sea. Lying close to the Malabar coast of Kerala in Arabian Sea. Here this particular region near the Malabar coast in Arabian Sea, we have the Lakshadweep, and it composed of small coral islands. It has many coral islands. Then earlier this Lakshadweep is known as Lakshadweep, Minicoy and Amindale. These are the, it is known by these three names. Very earlier it was also known as Lakshadweep, Minicoy and Amindale. These are the three names which is given to Lakshadweep very many years ago. And it covers, this particular Lakshadweep area, it covers an area of 32 square kilometer. And the Kavaratti, its main headquarters, administrative headquarters is Kavaratti. So these are the important things that you got to know with respect to Lakshadweep Islands. See, now see, I will show you some of the one of the important island in Lakshadweep. It has got beautiful sceneries. Likewise, they have few of them. Then, as I said about the coral reef, you can see the corals here. So all these things are found in the Lakshadweep area, which is also a tourist spot. Now let us go to the next island, that is Andaman and Nicobar Islands. You can see Andaman, as I said, Andaman and Nicobar Islands lies on in the Bay of Bengal. It is a chain of islands. See, chain of islands. It is an elongated chain of islands located in Bay of Bengal. And the entire group of this island is divided into two: Andaman Islands, Nicobar Islands. I repeat, this whole chain of islands is divided into two: Andaman in the north and Nicobar in the south. And these islands is close to the equator. Thus it experiences equatorial climate and has thick forest cover. So these are the important things, important points which is related to Andaman and Nicobar Islands. I shall show you some of the island groups of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. This is one of the Andaman Nicobar. This is also one of the islands, and you can see here some of the other island groups of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. I hope it is clear. You have understood the second session of the video, and before I conclude, I would like to discuss some questions with respect to the second video. The questions are: the features of Peninsular Plateau. The features of Peninsular Plateau. Then we have the second question, that is, explain the 5 features of Central Highlands. Third one, write any 5 features of Deccan Plateau. Deccan Plateau. Then we have the difference between, write the difference between Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. Then we have, write a short note on the Indian desert or the Thar desert. Then we have, write a short note on the coastal plains of India. Then we have a short note on the island groups. Next slide is about the Notebook questions. There are 4 questions which I have given you, which you will have to write in the notebook. Make sure to write neatly. Okay. The first question is, explain the theory of plate tectonics. Second one is, classify Himalayas on the basis of region from west to east. Next, the third one is, classify the northern plains on the basis of the relief features. And the fourth question is, write the difference between Western Ghats and Eastern Ghats. These are the 4 important questions that you got to write in the notebook. Okay. Then the next slide tells you about the assignment questions, which you are all aware. You have got to write the assignment questions in the A4 size sheet, okay, which must have a cover page writing the name of the chapter and the date, your name, class, roll number, everything you got to write in the first page. Then in the next page you can write down these questions. The first question is, write the 3 parallel ranges of Himalayas in its longitudinal extent. Write the 3 parallel ranges of Himalayas in its longitudinal extent. Number 2, explain Peninsular Plateau, highlighting its broader definition. Explain Peninsular Plateau, highlighting its broader division. This is the end of the chapter. I hope it was clear, and thank you and have a great day.